Dai Dawson. I spoke and presented part of my speech at legislature on Monday morning. This is what was left out. Sadly, I don't have Helen Purcell to turn around and give eye contact to this time. Can you guys hear? Test, test, test. Can you folks hear? Test, 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 test. Is that a little better? Aim it up. Is that? Can you folks hear me?
Yeah.
I hate megaphones. Here we go. Instead of greetings, elected Arizona officials, I'm going to say greetings to pissed off people of Arizona. Yep. The state of the polls in the United States has been questionable at best since George W. Bush lost the popular vote in November of 2000. The elections that have followed, voter suppression and disenfranchisement have become highly normalized. The populace has an expectation of deception in elections, and it has led to terminal voter apathy. We, the people, know that our electoral process is corrupted. This is not some sort of conspiracy theory. This is not some sort of sick joke, and this is perhaps especially true right here in Maricopa County. In 2012, the Spanish sample ballot in my district had the wrong date printed on it. This was only a mistake made on the Spanish sample ballot. In 2016, the map of polling sites shows a clear division at McDowell Road. This is especially distressing because until the late 1960s, people of color were not allowed to live north of McDowell Road. The voter suppression was blatant in Maricopa County. The racially and economically oriented placement of the polling sites was disgraceful. I hope that you folks have looked to see how few polling locations were made available in South and Southwest Phoenix, south of McDowell Road. Although this kind of deceit is expected, the sting of a blatant slap in the face to the democratic process is not comforted by our conditioning to this reality. Mrs. Purcell and accountable individuals and her staff have crossed a line that I would describe as criminal. Our democratic system was taken hostage without ransom. Decades in office have led to thousands upon thousands of uncounted votes. Purcell's accountability needs to be accompanied by a resignation, and it should not be without criminal charges. We need to restore the vote to the people of the United States. Arizona can lead this charge for this country. The fraudulent fiasco guised as a presidential primary that took place on March 22nd, 2016 needs to be nullified. Constituents need to be allowed to vote. Some of us to re-vote. All who are not able to vote must be recognized, and all votes must be counted. Many petitions are currently circulating for an investigation and a re-vote on June 7th. There are hundreds of thousands of signatures on over a dozen such petitions. Let's hope that that implores our legislators to do the right thing, although they haven't, so we're going to have to rely on the ACLU now. On March 22nd, 2016, this is my story. I waited for over 5 hours in line at 42nd Street in Thomas. My brilliant child wanted to go with me to vote. She started falling asleep on the pavement at around 9 p.m. I was just a few weeks post-op from a hysterectomy. The debacle in the AZ primary exhausted energy that I physically do not have, and I have not recovered still today to where I was the day before the vote. I, however, was allowed to cast my vote, my ballot for my chosen candidate, at 11 p.m., hours after the winner had been declared. The line behind me at 6:30 p.m. was close to 500 people and growing. When I left the voting booth, there were less than 200 people still waiting in line to vote. Hundreds left without voting, just at the location that I chose. The number of injured, disabled, and elderly forced to withstand excruciating pain is as shameful as the lack of polling stations, and the clear lack of polling stations in lower income areas and areas with more cultural and ethnic diversity is a display of racist oppression's current and ongoing chokehold on the United States. What happened here is clear. Pandering to the elite while neglecting the poor is a recipe for corruption, and we are a living example right here, right now. The corruption has become so complacent complacent that it got comfortable. So comfortable that it got lazy. So lazy that these bastards got caught, and we have to stick this to them or this will become the norm. Democracy is bleeding out on the floor, ladies and gentlemen. No more voter suppression can be allowed or tolerated in Maricopa County. We demand that all of our votes be counted, with a revote on June 7th, with an open primary. The current corruption needs to be held accountable. Is this a democratic republic, or is this a fascist tyranny? This election certainly smacks of the latter.
Yes, good job.
Yeah.
Yes.